Okay, so we've been gone for 9 days in New York on a little holiday vacation slash scavenging trip. And I'm sure you're wondering why I'm showing you a bunch of plastic bags, but these are 6 pairs of pants that sold. You can see the numbering system on them that we use to find them. And 4 of these pairs of pants sold for $50. So we sold quite a few high-priced pants while we were gone. The other pair is about $36, so that's a great price for pants. 2 of them are Swedish military pants. One of them is a LL Bean vintage plaid pants, some corduroy pants from Brooks Brothers, so some high-quality pants. So if you can get $50 for a pair of pants, then you're doing it right. This is a vintage Dodson brand leather chain wallet, kind of a biker trucker chain wallet. And I wouldn't think these were worth too much, but they are definitely vintage, and I looked them up and they sell easily for $50. So this one sold for $50. I can't imagine we got it for more than $1, so that's a pretty sweet sale. This is a set of vintage drink coasters, and they're funny because you can move the metal around to say what the drink order is. Now, I sold these once before, and the lady said this part right here was too small to hold a glass, and I guess I didn't have the measurements between that. So this time I measured there, and they sold again, and they sold for $50. I probably got these for, I don't know, a couple bucks. Not bad. This is a vintage Sears Craftsman brand safety night lock deadbolt. It's all in the original sealed package, definitely vintage looking. It's got the keys and everything. I probably got this for, let's see, I think you can see it on there. That was the price. I think this was probably about $3. And I sold it for $60, especially because it was new in the box. It's got that vintage look. Maybe someone has the same one at their house and they want to match it on another door or something. But $60, not bad for a vintage piece of hardware. This is a Netgear router. I sold it for $30. I probably got it for $5, which might be a little high, but I always like to sell these because they sell pretty well. This is a nurse's or doctor's scrub top. It's 100% cotton. I found a whole bunch of these, like 20 of these new, never worn scrubs with all different colorful designs. All of them were 100% cotton at the place where we get the bag sale. So I got about 20 of them for $2.50 in a big, kitchen trash bag. So however that much is, not very much. And this one sold for $20. I took an offer of $20, but the other ones I have up for, I think, $25 or $30. Several of them are jackets, like long sleeve button up jacket type. So this one sold for $20. I got it only for a few cents. This is a very scratchy wool sweater. It's small, so I advertise it as women's, with a leather patches. Kind of cool, but it takes a special person to really want that scratchy wool. And I probably got this in a bag sale, so pretty cheap. And I took an offer of $30. I think I had it up for $39, and it was on sale. So I must have thought it was more special than it was. It is nice. It's got that kind of cable knit, and it does say made in the UK on the tag, but just that scratchiness. So I took $30. I think that's a good price. This is a pair of leather kind of ankle hiking boots with the knit cuff. I probably got these at the bag sale. If not, they probably cost $2. And these sold for $40. Now these might look, pretty cheesy to some people, but because they're like from the 90s, like I probably had this same pair when I was in middle school, which was in the 90s. There are a lot of people now that were born in the 90s or were little kids in the 90s, so they definitely have that retro fashion coming back. So this style is definitely popular. So These can easily sell for $40, sometimes $50. These are vintage from the 90s again, Gap overalls. Now, Gap overalls are the overalls you want to get because they sell for the most money. This was an extra small, so I priced it a little bit lower than some of the other ones that are selling. But if you have a medium or a large, these sell for sometimes over $100. These ones sold for $60 to someone who bought my other pair of Gap overalls also for $60. So they bought them a couple months ago. Clearly they loved them and they bought another pair. So as far as overalls go, Gap is the one to get. I get any overalls I see because they sell like crazy. And I think I got these in a bag sale. There was this one place that had just like tons and tons of overalls, and I think I bought all of them. So they only cost me a few cents each. These sold for $60. This is a vintage 1970s suede fringe jacket. I think it's a men's, but it's quite small, so we advertise it as a woman's. It's missing a button. Probably got this at a bag sale again, cheap. That's where we get a lot of our clothes, obviously. We took an offer of $50. So we've been putting jackets and sweaters on sale like crazy, so $50 is not a bad offer for this. These are two vintage Polaroids that sold. This Polaroid, the 1-600, is the last model that they made. It collapses down into like a little pod. And this is the one step, which they made for years and years. Just the classic Polaroid. I've been selling Polaroids since we started, just because I used to have one in college, and we, as art students, loved them, so I know people love them. There's a company that makes the film now called The Impossible Project, so you can actually buy film for them. And what I do to test them is I have a film cartridge from one of these that I bought, and the film cartridge has the battery in there. Now, if the battery still works, you can test the flash and the photo taking mechanism. So I will show you how I test those. So you open this up, stick the film in. Once you have the film in, you can see the light is working. That means your battery is working, and you can test it by taking a picture. Now this has no film in it, so no picture came out, but that tests the flash and the film rotating mechanism. So you know it's pretty much going to work if someone has a fresh pack of film. This one sold for $40, and this one sold on offer for $55. Sometimes these ones, if they're new in box, will sell for over $100. So they're always good to get. I usually don't pay $1 or $2 for these. This is a vintage GE heat and serve baby dish. When I first put this up, I had put it on Pinterest, and I got so many repins, and I think it's because people remember it from when they were a kid. I think it's from the 60s or 70s. It's like this little heated dish. It's a little bit used. There's some scratches and dings on the corners, but it's really cute. It's got the original box. I probably got this for $2, and it sold for $40. This is a pair of SIDI brand Italian leather professional bike riding shoes with cleats. I'm not going to take them out of the bag, but you can kind of see them. We find these often in our thrift store where we have the bag sale because we live in a place where people come and do races because we live in the mountains. So these are used, but they're in good shape, and we got them at the bag sale, so cheap, and they sold for $60. If you get bike shoes, this brand or any other brand that's a high quality Italian brand, they can sell for, you know, over $100, sometimes more, depending on what they're made out of. These are a pair of men's Ferragamo patent leather dress shoes. probably for a wedding. I think I bought these for less than $5. And you can see the original price tag, $200. And I sold these for $125, which is awesome. These are two shirts from, at first I thought it was the Army, but I'm pretty sure it's the Marines. I think I mislabeled that. But they're khaki shirts from the military. We got them at a bag sale, so they were a few cents. And they sold for $35 for a pair to someone in, I believe it's in China. It's one of those shipping companies in like a warehouse in LA. This warehouse usually ships to China, so I'm pretty sure it's someone in China. Weird. This is a 2XL vintage, Union made, USA made Carhartt vest. We've talked about these before. They always sell. Probably got this in a bag sale again. That's where we get most of our clothing. And it sold for $48. All right. This is a vintage Woolrich wool-lined men's parka with a hood. And I think we got this at a bag sale. And it sold for $55. And the key word for these, other than, you know, Woolrich wool-lined hooded parka, is 60/40, 60/40. And the reason it is called 60/40, as you can see up here, the shell is 60% cotton, 40% nylon. So that's why people call it the 60/40 parka. This is a vintage Eddie Bauer hooded parka, similar to that Woolrich one, only it is down-filled. So it's quite fancy. It's got a few marks on the front, and it was on sale. I think we bought it for like $1 or $2 at a thrift store, and it sold for $55. At one of our local thrift stores, we get mugs for free because they have these huge boxes of mugs outside and they just say free. Probably because they just get massive amounts of mugs. So this mug was free. It did not have a marking. Usually these milk glass mugs have like Anchor Hawking or Fire King, but this didn't have any marking, but it's so awesome. It's got that 70s love logo on it, and it sold for $25. This is a vintage Seth Thomas flip clock. It's solid wood. Beautiful. These don't sell for very much. They sell for like $40, $50. And I just love it. I think it's amazing. So I put it up for $80 because I didn't want to take less for it. And it sold. So that was exciting to someone in global shipping. There are a few marks, as you can see. There's a mark here. There's like a weird mark there. It's still gorgeous though. It works. You can set the time down here, which is kind of fun. I think we probably bought it for about $5 at a thrift store nearby, and it sold for $80. This is a vintage Dansk Kobenstyle, and Koben is spelled with a K, Koben style. Metal with enamel. They call it a paella dish, or it's just, you know, a casserole dish. It doesn't have a top, and it has some dings in it, as you can see, and some stains. But it is beautiful. Signed by Dansk, Denmark. I probably paid between $3 and $5 for this. Hopefully I didn't pay any more because it is damaged. And it sold for $50. Now if you have one that's doesn't have all the marks on it and stains and has a top, you can get well over $100 for it. But this one was a little bit scuffed up. This is a beautiful set of vintage flatware. The brand is called Woodwind. It's made in Japan. And I've talked about this before. It's got that brown, it's not teak, it's like faux wood. And collectors call it canoe muffin. I don't know why they call it that, but that's the search term. Usually it's made by Echo, EKCO. But this was Woodwind brand. I think I paid probably between $5 and $10 for this whole set. There's about 35 or 40 pieces, and it sold for $125. So that is a nice sale. Now, we had talked about this in the podcast the other day. This is the walnut wood mid-century trash can or umbrella stand from Gruvwood. I'll show the label in a second. We got it for free at an estate sale in the trash, and it sold for $200. So that is obviously a very nice sale because it was free. You can see the label is called Gruvwood, Gruv wood, and it's all walnut. So if you see this tag, then people are definitely looking for that brand, vintage mid-century brand. This is a super cool vintage lamp. It's like pop art from the 60s or 70s. Very simple. It's plastic, not glass. Just got the little light thing in there. And I got this at a thrift store nearby for under $5, probably like $2 or $3. And I had it up for $125 because I couldn't see any like it on eBay. It's just, for people who collect lamps and are really into mid-century stuff, this is a pretty cool lamp. I took an offer of $88, so I was happy with that. It's just plastic, but it is a very cool vintage shape. Look at this thing. It's huge. It's like 17 inches across, 15 inches high. It's going to be fun to pack this. So this is a Royal Hager planter from the 40s or 50s. I got it at an auction for $5 to $7. I sold it for $80. I think it's worth it to pack it, but yeah, it's pretty massive. Very Art Deco. We sold 5 hats while we were away, and they're in order of how much they sold for. Vintage Mack truck mesh, $40. Vintage faux fur men's alpine hat, $30. Ravens NFL, it's a wool hat, $30. Chargers, also wool, $30. NYPD, also wool, $20. This is a set of 4 stainless steel mid-century modern little ice cream or sherbet dishes. And I got these at the bag sale. The funny thing is I found 3 of them and I bought them. And then the next week I found 1 more. I had already taken a picture and done all the measurements and written the descriptions when I found the other one. So I added 1 to the listing. I just like photoshopped 1 more into the group photo, and they sold for $30. So I thought they were really cute. So this is a lot of 4 pieces of dark kind of heavy duty denim. And we live in a town where there used to be a Wrangler Bluebell plant. And Wrangler and Bluebell are a very popular brand on eBay for jackets and pants. So I wrote in the listing that it could very well be from the Wrangler Bluebell plant. So that made it more valuable. I think I had them up for $150 and I got an offer of $90. So I was kind of thrilled with that. There is no indication that it is from the Bluebell plant, but the ladies who I bought it from, I'm pretty sure it came from this one yard sale, lived right across the street from the plant. So I'm pretty sure it came from there. So $90 for just a little pile of fabric is pretty great. I was on a listing spree yesterday and I listed a bunch of sunglasses and eyeglass frames. And these are Christian Dior. They are sunglasses, but they have a prescription lens. But people are mostly buying these just for the frames. So someone will probably replace these either with their own prescription or just regular tinted sunglasses lenses. These sold within an hour of listing them for $80. So that's a great sale. I think I paid under $5 for these. So they sold for $80. That's pretty awesome. And while I was listing my glasses, I was also listing some jewelry, and I have a bunch of like bangle bracelets that I bought thinking they might be Bakelite. But when I tested them, they weren't Bakelite. But I advertised this as plastic or celluloid, and it's definitely mid-century. Like, that's kind of a cool mid-century look. I put this one bangle up for $15, and again, it sold overnight, so clearly that was the right price. These are two hats that sold overnight. This is a Guinness hat, total frat boy hat, probably someone getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. It sold for $25. And then this is a Mighty Ducks hat from the 90s. It's new with the tag. I think I had it up for $60, but I've had it for a little while, so I took an offer of $30. I was fine with selling a hat for $30, so it's a cool one. This jacket sold yesterday, and it is a Walls, W-A-L-L-S. It looks like a Carhartt, but it's a nice hooded, insulated jacket. Going to someone in Nebraska, that makes sense. We probably got this in a bag sale or paid $2 or $3 for it. It sold for $48. Jackets are on sale, so they're kind of like weird prices, $47.99. This is a Gap vintage from the 90s, buffalo plaid on the inside jacket. I've had this jacket for about 2.5 years. And someone bought it before and returned it because there's a little stain on the sleeve. So I added that to the listing, and since jackets are on sale, this sold for only $24. Usually they're $30. So I was a bit sad about that. But I've had it for so long, I'm glad to see it go. This is a women's Ralph Lauren wool hacking jacket or blazer. It's cool. It's got these little like horse heads on the buttons. We've had this forever, so I'm glad it sold. It sold for $49, so that was good. This is a men's wool jacket from Germany. It's kind of a long coat. We've also had this forever, and I did something kind of dumb where it was on sale, but it also had make an offer. So they offered a high price, $95. And obviously I was thrilled to accept that. But they asked for free shipping. And I did not see that in the listing. So that was kind of a bummer, where I sent them a regular invoice and they said, hey, this doesn't have free shipping on it. I asked for free shipping in my offer, which is the worst because I wouldn't have accepted the offer, or I would have counteroffered and just said, I'm not going to do free shipping because it's kind of heavy. But the good thing is they're just a couple states over, so I don't think it'll be too expensive. But you always have to watch for those terms in the offer when people say free shipping or whatever. This is a vintage heavy-duty belt sander. It's all metal by Rockwell. And I'm pretty sure I had this up for $100. And the ones that sell really well are a different model that sell for like way over $100. So I actually took an offer of $50. So I was happy with that. We probably bought this for $5. Maybe 10, thinking we would get, over 100 for it, but it only sold for 50. But I'm happy with that. We've had it for quite a while, so I'm glad to send it to someone who will use it. This is a vintage German Schoenhut toy piano. Very rustic looking. It does not actually work. It would have been worth a lot more if it had worked. Maybe $200. The ones in perfect shape sell for a lot. So I probably bought this for about $5, maybe less. And I took an offer of $50 since it didn't work. So I'm happy with that. Okay, the last item I will show for this week is an old pair of glasses or spectacles. They're very cool. They have this like flexible wire back here to go around your ears. They are prescription, so someone would have to get their own lenses or replace them with like sunglasses lenses. I think we only bought these. We have several of these for a couple bucks. And what you need to look for on these is if it's marked on the back here or on the side, if it's gold filled. So it would say something like 10K GF or 12K GF. And gold filled spectacles can go for, you know, over $100. These sold for $60. So that's pretty good. It's got the original case with someone's address from Durham, North Carolina. But yeah, if they're gold filled, they can go for double. And that's it for this week. Bye.